So today we are going to start with setting up our Github in preparation for the practical for writing smart contract. So we are going to write smart contracts named simple storage smart contract. So after writing the smart contract, we are going to push it to our Github repo. Then we are going to deploy the smart contract, but we'll firstly test the smart contract before we deploy. And we are doing the testing and deployment using a Foundry and a MetaMask wallets. So we are deploying to Sepolia testnet. So let's get started. First thing, let's set up our GitHub repository. So to set up GitHub repository, we'll go to this URL https github.com. So I'll click enter. Sorry, it's opening my own GitHub repository. No. So it should be a new GitHub setup. Let me change to another user here. Let me change my user here to, let me change to this. Okay. So https slash slash github.com. Enter. So it will open a new GitHub. I will start by opening a new GitHub account so that we can have a step-by-step guide on how to do that. So it's coming up. All right, it has come. So sign up. So enter your email. Okay, it's coming up. I think the network is okay. So let's enter our email. And Gmail. Then put a password you'll be using. Then choose a username. So you can choose a username of your choice. For example, let's say I'm choosing Bravolag Dev. So that shows me as a developer. Then I will select my country. Nigeria has been selected for me as a region. Email preference. Do I want to be receiving occasional product updates and announcements? If you like, you can check it so that they will be sending email. If you don't, no bother, just create account. So my account is coming up. Okay, if I want this browser to be remembering my password, let's say I save it so that it can be remembered. So my GitHub, so this is how you set your own GitHub account as well. Just make sure you are following the video, so you'll be able to get every step of what we are doing. The account is being created. Let's wait for the account to create. So the account has been created. So now we go and verify the account that sent uh, password. Okay, that sent a code. I think network is responsible for this slow response this morning. All right. So this 1310544 1310544 1310544. So let me go and verify. 1310544. So 1310544. So my account has been created. Now sign into the Github. Fine. So I've signed into the Github. So you can see this is my dashboard. So first thing, create repository for the purpose of this for the purpose of this simple storage contract. So I'm creating a repository right away. So I'm the owner of this repository, Buffalo Dev. So give your repository a name. So the repository we are creating is for simple storage contract. That would be our first project. So I will now give the name simple. So make sure it's in small letter. Then put hyphen simple storage because it's not a single name. Simple storage contract. So the name is available. That's taken it. Then give your repository a description. So here, simple storage contract using Foundry So let's call it simple storage smart contract. Smart contract. So we are creating simple storage smart contracts. We're using Foundry. Then the next thing we have to do is to set the visibility for our repository. So leave it as public so that anybody can see it. All members of public can see it. Then you can add README or you may decide not to add. So for our case, let's add README. Add README. Then after this, add.gitignore and decide to add or not. Let's add gitignore. We are writing in Solidity. So our gitignore should be for Solidity. LMNOPQRS. Let's search PQRS. Where is it? It's not Rust. It's Solidity. Solidity. This in it. It's Solidity. Is it Solidity Remix? No. If you don't see, okay, we still look for Solidity Remix. Solidity. So let's look for Solidity Remix. So add license, no bother, create your repository. So our repository is on the way. Our repository is on the way. Fine. So we've created our repository. So if If you check, this is our repository. It's having git ignore and it's having a readme file. So the next thing for us to do is to we are going to clone this repository. So you clone your repository and you're going to use it in your local machine. So come to this code, click here. When you click this code, can you see? Click code, then come to make sure this thing is on HTTPS. So this URL that you created, copy it. So in your own repository, in your own GitHub account, you give it your own username of your choice. But your smart contract name it simple storage contract as well. So click this URL. Once you click this, you can minimize this. We are done with repository creation. Now go to where you have terminal for your own Mac or Linux or Ubuntu. Remember, you can use Mac, you can use Linux, or you use Ubuntu. So whichever one you are using. But if you are using Windows, make sure you use Ubuntu. So now in your Ubuntu terminal or in your Windows, not Windows, in your Ubuntu terminal or in your Mac terminal or in Linux. So click. This is my own terminal, which is a Mac terminal. So this project, I want it to be inside my document. So because of that, I'm going to my document. So cd documents. So I'm inside my documents now. So inside my documents, I want to create, I want this project to be inside there. I want to create tech crush. Okay, let's say let's say practice. Let me create practice. So I want to create a practice folder, mkdir, that's make directory named, let's name it web 3 practice. So I've created a directory known as web 3 practice. Now I will cd into web 3 practice. So I'm going inside the web 3 practice folder. So I'm now inside the web 3 practice folder. So the next thing I will do now, I just increase the command so that you can see clearly. So the next thing I'm going to do is to clone that repository that I've copied the URL from my repository. So I'll now do git. So this will not work if you don't have git installed in your system. So what we are doing now, we believe all your environment is intact. You have installed all necessary tools and you have all environment ready. So if you are getting errors, it may be due to your environment that is not being created. So the next thing, I will now do git clone, git space, then clone, then space. Then I will paste the URL that I've copied from the repository. So you can see the URL https://github.com/bravolacdev, which is my account, and /simple storage contracts, then .git. Then I press enter. So you can see it has cloned the repo and you can see it's successful, 100% done. So now the smart contracts have been cloned already. So the next thing I will do is cd. I will now go into my simple storage contract. Then I click enter. So I'm inside the simple storage contract now. You can see it's inside. It's successful. So the next thing I'm going to do is to initialize a Foundry project. But before I do that, let me open this in Visual Studio Code. So code space dot, and I click enter. So it will open automatically my folder in Visual Studio Code. So you can see this simple storage contract. Then I have my .gitignore already, and I have my readme.md. So close this one that is welcoming us. Then go and pick your terminal. Pick terminal. So I'm selecting new terminal. Selecting new terminal. So in the new terminal, I'm already inside the simple storage contract project. So what to do next is now to initiate a Foundry project. So remember that we have installed our Foundry as well. So I can now initiate my Foundry project. So to initiate Foundry project, just type this command inside your terminal: forge space init to initialize the Foundry project. Say that forge init cannot run init on a non-empty directory. Run with /force flag to initialize regardless. Okay, so let's force it. Forge is because there's nothing in the forge init flag force. Flag force. So I'm initializing the forge contract. It's almost successful. Let me increase this place so you can see what's going on. So the project is being initialized. It's now 20% successful. So we wait till all till the success is 100%. So you can see if your operation is successful, you are going to have if the operation is successful, you are going to have the script folder. You will see SRC folder. You will see your test folder as well. So it's successful. The project is initialized. First standard, then this is the tag. So the project is successful. So you will see all these files. These are three important files that you must have: your script, which is what you use for deployment, then your SRC, where your smart contract will be written, then the test, which we'll use for testing our smart contract. So once this is done, we are good to go. Now, then another one that is important is this one, foundry.toml. It's another important file that you must have. So those four files are very critical. Make sure you have them. Now let's write our smart contract. So, and the name of our smart contract is simple storage contract. So how do we do that? We'll go into this SRC folder, this SRC, click it. You can see we have one sample smart contract in it, and you can see the way it is stored. It's stored as an extension of .sol, extension of Solidity. So that's the format we should use to name our own simple smart contracts as well. So if you check these two places, make sure you click on SRC like this. Click on it, and you can see it is highlighted in blue. Now, if you come here, this is a new folder creation. If you want to create a new folder, but we are not creating folder, we are creating file. So go to the second one. This is the file. So click on create file. So now name your file simple storage.sol. So remember that it start with capital for counter. So your own tool will start with capital letter S, simple. The case you use can affect your performance, your code. So follow the name casing. So capital S, simple storage dot. So we're having simple storage contract. So let's name it simple storage dot sol. Simple storage dot sol. Press enter. So we have created the file, but the file is empty. Now let's write our code. So firstly, we introduce with the license for this to be an open source license, SPDX. We are familiar with this. We have seen it on different occasions. So the code tool will be available, or you can type as I'm typing my own license, SPDX license dash identifier, then colon, space, MIT, capital, then enter. Then define the pragma solidity. Pragma, that's the version of solidity we are using. Solidity. Then um, what next do we do? Version is 0.8.20. Then it's a stable version. This stable version symbol, I don't think we have it on keyboard. You may have to go and copy it from somewhere. The symbol that represents raised to power. I don't think we have it. No, it's not on my keyboard. So for that symbol, let me go and copy it somewhere and put the symbol to make our work faster. Where can I quickly pick it up? Let me say raise to power symbol. Okay, this is the symbol. So let me copy it. Let's see. So I go back to the yes and paste it here. So then don't forget to put this column. So it's what will tell Solidity that this line of coding has ended here. So we are starting and writing. Now define the contract. Contract as a function. Contract space simple storage, then space, then press shift and introduce your object notation bracket, then press enter to space it so that you can type in between that object bracket. So we are passing on signed integer, so unsigned integer of 256 character. Then our publicity is private. Find the publicity. Then what do we want to do? We want to store value. We want this smart contract to be storing value. So store value. Then we complete the code line. Then space. Now, we now pass in functions of what we want the smart contract to be doing, functions that will be implementing what the smart contract will be doing. So we have instantiate the store value now, and it's going to be taking in unsigned integer of 256 character, and its publicity will be private. So meaning this will not be seen, but it can be interacted with only within this smart contract. So now put space function set. So we are defining, we are function set. This will be a constructor. So unsigned integer. Okay, you can keep it. Unsigned integer of 256 character underscore value. So 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 this will be our a value. We are setting our constructor now. We are bringing in input that will be a value. So our inputs is what will be passing into the value, and it's going to be unsigned integer of 256 character. Then publicity here, we set it to public, such that the public can view it. Anything that has been stored in the smart contracts can be revealed to the public later. Then bring in an object bracket notation again, then space, sorry, enter, so that we can type in between. Then we now bring in our stored value. Sorry. So we are defining a variable as stored value. Then we assign the store value. Bring for the store value, we are passing, we are declaring our store value variable as the value that comes in from this place, as the value, as the input. Any input that comes here is now being stored as our store value variable. So we have underscore value. So we are done with this. So anything that is stored with this function, it can be publicly viewed. This store value will be revealing it. Anything that has been stored here, the store value variable is what will be helping us to reveal what has been stored, which has already been initiated as being private. So we are through with one function. Don't make mistake. You can see we have two closing brackets here. So we are still on the first one. Then press enter. So you can space it. So after spacing it, let's let's declare another function. So this function is what anybody, the outside public, this is another contract that the outside public will be using to get, to interact with our smart contract to get a particular value that has been stored. So get public, put brackets, space, then we also set it public because we want it to, this function is what the public will be using to interact, to fetch information from the smart contract. So we set public, then we make it variable. So the function is a variable function, then it's returning value. To be returning value of what has been stored. It's a stored value here. So it will return, and the value it will be returning will pass the type of that value. The type is going to be yes, unsigned integer of 256 character. Then space. Now we put object notation bracket again. We'll press enter. Then we'll now return the the stored value. The value we have stored is now returned. So this what helps uh, the outside the public to actually fetch information from our smart contracts after the smart contract has been deployed. So it's with the aid of this function that what has been stored there can be retrieved and it will be viewable because we return the value. The value will now be viewable. So we are done with the smart contract. So this is our storage smart contract that we have written. So these are storage smart contracts. We are through with it. So next step, let's build, let's compile our smart contract. So to compile, come back here, make sure you save the, save the, what do we call it? Simple storage contract, save it. If you don't save it, it may fail when you are trying to build. So after saving it, come to um, your terminal. Inside the terminal here, now run the command forge build. So to build the smart contract. So you can see it's compiling. Function get public build return assign integer 256. Okay, let's have this simple storage, but got return. It expected this, but got return. It's expecting and got return. It's in line 11. Line 11 function gets public view return. Get public view return. Return assign integer 256. Expected this and got this. 0 function get public view